struggling to sleep after a breakup. If you've ever laid in the dark, completely exhausted, and still found your mind running back through every moment of a relationship that's over, this one is for you. Welcome to your sleepy psych sanctuary, a place where overthinkers can relax. This is your time to give your mind a rest. Before we begin, let's take just a moment together, wherever you are right now, real in your bed, under your covers, resting your head. Notice the surface beneath you, the way it holds you without asking anything of you. You don't have to arrange yourself differently. You get to simply be held right where you are. Take a breath in through your nose, slowly, slowly, as if you are breathing in something warm. Honeyed air, evening air, the kind that feels slightly heavier than daytime, as if the night itself is an invitation to slow down and breathe out. Let your jaw soften just a little. Take another breath in, and as you exhale this time, let your shoulders drop. Nose there, not because they should, but because they get to. One more breath. In and out. Now tonight we are going to peek in on Waverly. Waverly has found themselves in a very common place, one that many of us know well, though we rarely talk about it. Their mind simply will not quiet down. Not tonight. Perhaps not for a while now. They find themselves lying awake, turning things over, sifting through moments, replaying choices, circling back to words that were said or left unsaid. Maybe you know this feeling too, that moment when the day is done, the lights are off, the world outside is still nor, and yet your mind has somewhere urgent to be. It wants to go back. It wants to review, to reconsider, to ask whether things could have been different. It nudges you with old conversations. It brings up plans that used to feel certain. It wonders in the dark whether you are doing as well as you are supposed to be. If any part of that feels familiar, you are in the right place and you get to just rest here for a while we visit with Waverly and let their quiet evening do a little of the work for you. The night above is very soft. Through the open window of a room above a moonlit vineyard, the air moves slowly, warm, and carrying something faintly herbal. Something that grows close to the ground. Rosemary, perhaps, or the dry earthiness of old grapevines coming in off the dark rose below. It is the kind of smell that exists nowhere else in the world, particular to this place, this evening, this particular hour when the moon has climbed just high enough to turn the hillside silver. The room is all linen and old stone. The ceiling is low and warm. Somewhere below, nothing is moving. And Waverly is lying there in the middle of all this stillness, very much awake. Their eyes are closed. They have been closed for some time. But behind them, something is running. It isn't loud, exactly. It isn't the kind of thinking that shouts. It is more like water finding its way through stone. Quiet, persistent, finding every small gap. A thought appears, almost casual, and then Waverly is somewhere else entirely. Back inside a moment they have visited many times before. Turning it over the way you turn a smooth stone in your hand, looking for something you are not quite sure you lost there. The room around them smells of rosemary and cool stone. Waverly notices this distantly. The linen beneath their palm is cool and slightly rough. Old fabric, well washed. The kind that has belonged to many evenings. Outside, the vineyard is entirely still. Not even the olive trees at its edge are moving. But Waverly's mind is moving. They are doing that thing. No. The thing that happens in the quiet when there is nothing left to occupy the hands. They are going back. It begins, as it often does, with something small. Waverly notices. In the particular way the body notices things before the mind does, that there is an absence, where there used to be something, not a dramatic absence, not a gaping one, more like walking into a room and finding a piece of furniture moved, tucked. Everything else exactly as it was, and yet the space arranged wrong in a way that the body keeps registering they would usually have heard from their ex by now. That is the thought that arrives gently and then sits. There would have been a message, casual, unremarkable, something small. How was the rest of your day? Did you eat? Did you see the moon tonight? It looked strange, coming up over the buildings. Small things. The architecture of a shared life. The check-ins that happened without either of them thinking of them as significant, because they were simply the texture of the day. And now the texture has changed. Waverly lies still and lets this arrive without reaching toward it or away from it. It is strange the way a person can prepare themselves for a large loss and still find themselves surprised by the smallness of what undoes them, not the ending itself. Waverly has sat with that, turned it over, learned its weight. But this, the first morning that passed without a good morning, the weekend that arrived without any shape to it, the evening meal eaten in silence, not because either of them chose silence, but because there was no longer anyone choosing alongside them. These are not dramatic griefs, but they are real ones, and Waverly has been quietly carrying all of them. Here is what Waverly is beginning to learn to do. Something small and important. Know, which is simply to let the grief be the shape it actually is, rather than the shape they thought it would be, to stop waiting for the feeling to arrive in a large and recognizable form, and to notice instead that it is already here, in small and ordinary ways, in the silence of an evening, without the familiar rhythm of another person's presence. In the absence of the small domestic thread that used to stitch the days together, grief does not always look like grief. Sometimes it looks like a quiet room, and the faint sense that something is missing from the air. Waverly does not try to fix this thought. They let it be what it is. They breathe in again, slowly. The linen beneath their fingers is cool and certain. The ceiling is low and warm. They are allowed to feel this. They are not expected to have moved past it yet. There is no schedule for this kind of thing, and recognizing that, just letting that truth settle. Nern is its own small act of kindness toward themselves. Waverly breathed. A different thought finds them now, quieter than the last, and somehow heavier. It does not arrive as words. Exactly. It arrives more like a color. That particular shade of gray that belongs to Sunday afternoons, that no longer exist. Plans that had been half made, assumed rather than decided. The kind of future that accumulates without ceremony, simply because two people keep showing up for each other, and the shape of what comes next becomes, over time, understood. There had been a place they talked about going. Waverly doesn't linger on the details of it. Just the feeling, the way it had felt settled. Not certain, not formally agreed upon, but settled the way things feel when you believe you have time. They had believed they had time, and now that particular future has quietly dissolved, the way a dream dissolves when you reach for it too quickly upon waking. You know it was there. You know it had a quality to it, warmth or strangeness, or something you wanted to stay inside a little longer. But when you try to hold it, it is already becoming air. Waverly exhales. There is a particular sadness and mourning something that never quite became real. A future is a strange thing to lose, because no one else can see that it is gone. No one else marked it. It existed only inside the shared imagination of two people who will no longer be imagining together. And so its loss belongs entirely to you. And you alone must decide what to do with it. This is the thought that has been circling night after night in one form or another. Not the past, but the imagined future. The plans. Waverly lets out a breath that is slightly shaky at its edges. then, more quietly, with no announcement, no chin, they choose not to shame themselves for it. This is the small act Waverly is practicing, the decision to cry or to feel the numbness or to feel the strange blankness that sometimes replaces feeling without adding a story on top of it, without the inner voice that says, "You should be further along than this," or "It is embarrassing to still be here," or "Other people have been through harder things and they managed. Waverly has been through something real. What they are feeling is proportionate to something they actually loved. The fact that it is still present, the grief, the wistfulness, the particular ache of an imagined future. Notice is not evidence of weakness. It is evidence of having genuinely meant something, of having felt it fully, of having been in that relationship alive. Their capacity to feel this deeply is tied in some direct and unambiguous way to their capacity to love, and that capacity is not something to be fixed. It is not a flaw. Outside, through the window, one of the old olive trees at the edge of the vineyard makes a small sound, the merest shift of branches, as though the night has exhaled too. Waverly listens. The ache is still there, but they have stopped arguing with it. They are allowed to not be over this. They are allowed to feel the full weight of a future that has unmade itself. They are allowed to cry if the crying comes, nor or to feel the numbness if that is what arrives instead, nor, and neither of those things is a referendum on who they are or how well they are recovering. They are simply feeling what is real. And for this moment, in this room, that is enough. They get to just be here, inside that, without needing it to be anything other than what it is. The ceiling is warm. The air moves very slightly. Waverly breathes. Now the mind does something Waverly has come to recognize. It begins to wander back into the relationship the way you wander into a room you have already memorized. Not because there is something new there, but because it is familiar, and familiar things can feel like comfort even when they are not. There is a particular version of the past that has begun to crystallize in Waverly's mind, softer edged than the actual past, better lit, stripped of the ordinary friction and quiet disappointments that were always there and were real. In this version, things were simpler. In this version, they were easier to love. Waverly knows this is happening. They can see it. The way you can see a pattern you have been repeating without quite deciding to. And some quieter part of them, gently interrupts. It does not arrive as a sharp correction. It is not an argument or a declaration. It is more like someone sitting down next to them and saying, "Oh, we have been here before, remember?" This is the part where the past becomes a little more golden than it actually was. Let's slow down here. Waverly breathes in through their nose. They think about the actual texture of that time, not just the warmth of it, all of it. The conversations that left them feeling hollowed out. The ways in which being seen by that person sometimes felt the things they wanted to say that stayed unsaid. The parts of themselves they learned to make smaller. The past was real, and it had good things in it, and it also had the shape it had, the one that eventually led here, to this room, to this specific kind of quiet. And then the thought arrives. Not dramatic, not forced. The question that has been waiting underneath all of this. Why would they want to have to convince someone of their value? Waverly holds this thought without rushing it. Not as a rebuke, not as a hard, bracing lesson, just as a question offered gently, the way you might offer it to a friend you love very much, who is considering going back somewhere they've already left. Why would you want to have to make the case for yourself? Why would you want a relationship where your worth is something that needs arguing for? You want Waverly wants to be known and accepted in the full, unglamorous, actual sense of those words, to be with someone for whom the question of whether you are worth loving is not a question. Not because love is simple, but because the regard is given freely, and the belonging is not conditional. That is a real thing to want, and no amount of chasing the past or romanticizing what it was or shaping it into something softer than it actually was. None of that brings that kind of love closer. What it does instead is postpone the quiet, the actual rest, the settling into oneself that makes everything that comes next possible. Waverly breathes slowly. They are not a story of what went wrong. Every relationship they have ever been in has taught them something about themselves. What they can offer, what they need, what they will not again be willing to set aside. All of it is part of who they are becoming. None of it was wasted. None of it was failure. It was life, living itself forward through them, accumulating into something. They are not diminished by this. They are not someone who needs to prove their worth to the person who has already chosen to leave. They are someone who is lying in a room that smells of rosemary and old grapevines, in the moonlight over a vineyard, finding their way back to themselves, slowly, imperfectly, and with the whole of the night ahead of them to rest. The thought settles, not a revelation, just a settling, something finding its right place after being held at the wrong angle for too long. Waverly exhales. The vineyard below is exactly as it was. The moon has moved, perhaps, just slightly, the way it does when you are not watching. The quality of the light through the window has shifted by some increment so small as to be almost imaginary, and yet Waverly can feel it. The night is a little deeper now, a little more itself. There is a sound very far away, an animal or a settling of wood. Somewhere in the old villa. More, and then nothing again. The nothing comes back. It was always there, just underneath everything else. Waverly lets their body be heavy. They had come into this evening carrying 3 things, quietly, without naming them. The strange grief of a life whose ordinary rhythms have been interrupted. The daily threads, the small check-ins, the shape of a day held by 2 people, which is now held by only one. They let themselves feel this without hurrying it. Grief does not move on a schedule, and tenderness toward one's own grieving is its own form of healing. The particular ache of a future that has unmade itself, the plans, the assumed somedays, the imagined places. They let themselves feel this too, without judgment. The depth of that ache is simply the measure of how fully they were present. It is not weakness. It is the mark of someone who loved with their whole self. And there is nothing in that to be ashamed of. And the quieter, more stubborn work of knowing their own worth. Slowland. Which means, in part, allowing the past to be what it actually was. Not a more golden version of it. It means asking, gently, whether they want to spend their energy convincing someone of what is already true about them. It means trusting that they are not a sum of endings, but a continuity, something ongoing, something learning, something becoming. These are not small things to carry. And tonight, in this room above the moonlit vineyard, Waverly gets to set them down. Not forever, just for now, just for the length of this night. Take a breath in now, as slow as you can make it. Let the air fill you all the way down, past your chest, into your belly. Feel your ribs expand. Hold it just for a moment, and then let it go. Notice where your body makes contact with what is beneath it. The pillow under your head, the weight of your own arms, the particular quality of warmth your body has created in this small space. Take another breath in, slower than the last. Notice a sound, something in the room with you, or just outside it. It might be small, it might be barely there. Find it and let it hold your attention for just a breath. Breathe out. Your worth is not in question. Not tonight, not in this room. Your grief is not a problem to be solved. It is a sign of a life that has felt things fully. That is not something to recover from. That is something to honor. The future is not lost. It is simply not yet made. And that is not the same thing. Take one more breath in. Let it be easy. Let your face soften. Your hands, the space behind your eyes. Breathe out. Let the night be what it is. Long and dark and very still, and absolutely full of room for you to rest in it. You get to be here now. Just here. The vineyard is quiet below. The rosemary smell is there, just at the edge of your breath if you look for it. The ceiling is warm and low, and Waverly is resting. And you get to rest. Now it is time for you to give your mind a rest.